And we're live.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. I'm calling this meeting of the Committee of Adjustment for the Township of Cavan Monaghan to order this morning, July 4th at 9 a.m. Before we begin, I have a land acknowledgement to read. We respectfully acknowledge that the Township of Cavan Monaghan is located on the Treaty 20 Michi-Saagiig territory in the traditional territory of the Michi-Saagiig Anishinaabe. We offer our gratitude to First Nations for their care for and teachings about these lands. May we honor these teachings. Moving on to item 3 in the agenda, disclosure of any pecuniary interests by the members. Are there any by any of the members?
None for myself.
Right. Hearing none, then we'll proceed. The next item is item 4 on the agenda regarding the minutes from the previous meeting, which was May 30th. Are there any questions or comments regarding those minutes?
I don't have any questions.
All right, hearing none, I would ask for a motion regarding those minutes to approve.
Make a motion to approve.
Thank you. Second. I think Dave raised his hand, so all in favor? The minutes of the May 30th meeting are accepted. Moving on to the next item, which is the main item of business today, the application for minor variance regarding 923 Highway 7A in Cavan Monaghan. And I'll pass it over to Matt to discuss that application.
Thank you. Good morning, Chairman Simple and members of the committee. Mr. Chair, through you today, we are discussing minor variance application MV06-24. The variance is to permit the use of a shipping container on the property and reduce the existing legal non-conforming rear yard setback to permit an addition to the retail store at 923 Highway 7A. Before you is Planning Report PEB 2024-34. The report makes the recommendation that the Committee of Adjustment review and consider all verbal and written comments received regarding this application, and that the committee approve application MV06 without conditions. The owner of the business has attached a 32.4 square meter or 348.8 square foot shipping container, enclosed it and clad it with siding as an additional storage for the existing retail store. A variance is required to permit the shipping container on the property and to recognize the location of the addition. A site plan was submitted in support of the application and is provided as attachment number 4 to the report. The property is zoned Hamlet Commercial, or C2. While the C2 zone does permit the existing motor vehicle gas bar and retail store, the use of the shipping container is not permitted in commercial zones. The addition is also located within the rear yard setback. A street view of the image of the addition is provided as attachment number 3 to the report. The purpose of the minor variance is to permit the establishment of one shipping container as an enclosed addition to the subject property and to reduce the minimum rear yard setback from the existing legal non-complying setback of 2.59 meters or 8.4 feet to 0.89 meters or 2.92 feet. All other regulations of the C2 zone will apply to the property. Notice of the minor variance application was circulated by first-class prepaid mail to all assessed persons within 60 meters or 200 feet of the subject property. Signage was also posted on both the Highway 7A and County Road 10 frontages of the property. Township staff did not receive any public comments for the application. Notice of the application was also circulated to Township Department directors, applicable ministries, and agency partners. Township Building Department and Township Public Works Department have no objection to the application. A building permit will be required for the proposal. After the drafting of the report, Township Fire Department have provided comment and have no objection to the application. The Ministry of Transportation has no objection to the application, but did state that the development permit from MTO will be required. Peterborough County Public Works Department have no objection to the application. The Autonomy Region Conservation Authority has no objection to the application, and they have provided comment that the application is consistent with Section 3.1 of the Provincial Policy Statement, referencing natural hazards. Development permits from Matonabbee Conservation will not be required, and a Clean Water Act notice is not required as the subject property is not located within a vulnerable area that is subject to the source protection plan policies. To date, Hiawatha First Nation have not provided comment. The Planning Act provides the test that must be satisfied to support the minor variance application. The tests are as follows. Number 1, does the minor variance maintain the general intent and purpose of the official plan? Section 4.9.3H of the Township Official Plan permits the expansion of existing small-scale commercial buildings, provided they meet the criterion. The subject property is located on the southeast corner of Highway 7A and County Road 10. There are commercial uses to the north side of 7A and residential properties to the east and the opposite side of County Road 10 to the west. There is an industrial contractor's yard owned by Nexcon abutting the subject property to the south. The shipping container is on the southwest side of the retail building and will have minimum impact on the surrounding neighborhood. The existing building will provide adequate screening from the adjacent residential uses on the western side. The area of the building of the addition are less than 500 square meters. The property has frontage and direct access onto public roads, and the building expansion will not require additional sewage or water use. The subject lands are located within the Cavan settlement area and designated hamlet in the township official plan. Hamlets are small-scale settlement areas that provide important residential, commercial, and social focus in the rural area. The existing motor gas vehicle bar and retail stores serve the hamlet, support the rural area, and local tourism. The proposed addition to the retail store supports the existing use. So the proposed variance does maintain the general intent of the official plan. Number 2, does the minor variance maintain the general intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw? The property is zoned Hamlet Commercial, C2, in the Township zoning bylaw. The C2 zone does permit the existing motor vehicle gas bar and retail use. The establishment of the shipping container is not permitted in commercial zones and requires a variance to permit the establishment of the shipping container. The use of the shipping container is permitted in industrial zones and for temporary storage in residential zones. The shipping container on the subject property is enclosed to give the appearance of a traditional building addition, with the exception of the front doors, which are not clad. An engineering memo was also submitted with the application stating that the construction of the addition is structurally sound, and with the approval of the variance, the single shipping container will be permitted on the property. The existing building does comply with C2 zone regulations, with the exception of the minimum rear yard setback of 6 meters or 19.68 feet. The existing building is located 2.56 meters or 8.4 feet from the rear property line. The building addition requires a variance to further reduce the rear yard setback from the 2.59 meters, 8.4 feet, to 0.89 meters or 2.92 feet. Section 11.21.1 of the bylaw number 2018-58 as amended permits a building or structure that does not comply with the bylaw but was legally or erected or altered in accordance with the previous bylaw that was in fact at the time of the construction or alteration to be enlarged, repaired, or renovated, provided the enlargement, repair, or renovation does not further reduce the existing yards or all other provisions of the bylaw. So just to sum up that point, we have an existing setback. We're now further reducing that. We can have a legal non-complying addition, but this variance will recognize the further reduction. The addition to the building will be permitted on the property with the approval of the variance, and the variance maintains the general intent of the purpose of the zoning bylaw. The third test of the variance is the proposed use desirable for the appropriate development or use of the land. The subject property is located on the southeast corner of Highway 7A and County Road 10. There are commercial uses to the north side of 7A, and residential properties are established to the east and the opposite side of County Road 10 to the west. There's a contractor's yard to the south. In addition to the retail store for increased storage is normal development for a commercial building, and the property is zoned and designated to permit the existing use and the addition. With the approval of the minor variance, the look and use of the property will not significantly change, and the reduced setbacks will not be obtrusive to local nearby residents. The variance will permit a land use that is compatible with the existing development in the area, and so the proposed use is an appropriate development and use of the land. The fourth test is the variance minor. In addition to the existing commercial building is permitted. The enclosed shipping container is a relatively small change to the property. The establishment of a shipping container is mitigated by enclosing it and cladding it to match the existing commercial building, and with the exception of the doors, the addition will not look like an industrial shipping container. The proposed reduction to the rear yard should not impose the contractor's yard, as the rear lot line is buffered and vegetated with fencing and vegetation with a chain link fence. The variance is minor in nature. After hearing the public comments and considering all written submissions, the committee has the following options. Number 1, approve the minor variance with no conditions. 2, approve the variance with with conditions. 3, defer the minor variance for further consideration at a later date. Or 4, reject the minor variance. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Matt. Are there any questions or comments from the members of the committee?
Chairman Simmel, I had a question. Prior to the shipping container being placed there, my understanding, looking at the aerial, I think that, if I'm not mistaken, was that parking space that it was previously used as parking?
My understanding is yes, it was a parking. It's used as a where you fill your tires, the air pump. So that section has been moved, and the air pump is still there. But there's additional parking on the east side of the property.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from the committee? I just had a couple of questions. So Matt, the building itself is a legal non-conforming use. And any addition to that, other than the fact that it's a shipping container, would have been permitted under that as well, or am I wrong? Or it's permitted on the existing bylaw?
No. So the addition, you can, so if they had done an addition in the front or the other side of the building, or not the rear, so you can have a legal non-conforming as a right, an addition to it, as long as you don't further reduce any other, as long as it meets all the other regulations of the zoning bylaw. So because they're going further into it, they're further reducing it, then we need a variance for the rear yard setback as well.
Right. So it's basically the fact that it's a shipping container that requires the minor variance. Is that right?
Yeah, the shipping container, well, there's two parts, the shipping container and the rear yard setback. So yeah,
Thank you.
if they had kept the 2.95 meter setback, then they can keep their existing rear yard setback, but because they went further beyond that,
Right.
then we need the variance. We'll recognize that.
Just one other question. This shipping container's been there for a while, hasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, and I've seen it for quite a while. So are we basically being asked to approve it after the fact, after they've done it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Any other questions or comments arising from the committee?
I had one additional question. Do we know? Do we have any idea of why they use a shipping container as opposed to just an addition? Like, was it just for cost savings? It was more cost effective to use the shipping container versus actually building an addition? I guess maybe that's unknown.
No, the agent may have more information about the why. We did have a pre-consultation where questions like that were asked, but it basically, yeah, they brought out a shipping container because it was quick and easy at the time. And then over time decided to clad it and make it look a little cleaner. Yeah, their lumber is expensive and shipping containers are available.
Thank you, Matt. Any other questions from the committee? Are there any members? Sorry, go ahead.
Because they use the shipping container, that they did have to get an engineered sign off to have the shipping container and the connecting it to the building with the existing with the foundation that they used. So
right, thank you.
A small hurdle in that.
Are there any members of the public that have joined the meeting this morning?
Do you, Chair Simple? Yes, there are, and I can promote the member. I'll let you know when they've been successfully promoted. To you, Chair Simple, they are successfully promoted, the participant.
All right, and who are they?
We'll have to get them to identify themselves. I'm not sure.
All right. So
can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. And who are you?
This is Jacob Clark and Murray Davenport from MJ Davenport Associates. We're the planners and engineers for the project.
All right. So you've been listening to the meeting, and do you have any questions or comments at this point?
Not really. The shipping container, I think, was put there by the convenience of the operator. We have no further explanation of that.
Right. Okay. Do you know when it was put there?
It was roughly September of 2021.
Okay. Did you have any other comments or questions for the committee?
Our retainment, or we were retained to resolve this matter earlier this year, so we're satisfied that the shipping container itself would be structurally sound and the building around it.
Right. Are there any questions from the members of the committee for the applicant's agents?
None for me.
All right. Thank you very much. Are there any other members of the public participating this morning?
No, there's not, Chair Simple.
All right. Then we can move on to consideration and our decision on the application. I would ask for a motion to either approve, reject, or amend the application.
For example, I'll motion to approve without any conditions.
Thank you, Aaron. Second. David. Thank you very much. All in favor of the application without any conditions? The application is approved without conditions. And I think that's the end of our official business for this morning. Therefore, I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
I can motion to adjourn.
Thank you. We are adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone.